All right, step one, gotta get the cap off. Take a chisel, work your way around, like that. There we go. Spin it if you need to. Try not to damage the cap. Keep working your way around. There we go. All right, so the cap is off. And what I like to do is set everything in order that it came off. So, set everything in order, the way it came off. Next thing we're going to do, pop this pin out, all right? Then lock and cap. Next, gonna take that nut loose. So, grab your ratchet. These should not be that tight. That's what sets your tension on your bearing. So, got that kind of loose. Next thing we're gonna do is get the brake caliper off. So, get your hook ready. Pop your ABS clips off so you can let it hang to the side, like that. And then, got T40 here. All right. Take your bolts out. So now we got both bolts out. Set them off to the side. Then what I like to do is take a big screwdriver in here and pry the rotor back. Once the rotor is pried back, we'll take it off, hang it to the side. There we go. All right, now take your pads out of here. You can see pads are getting pretty thin. All right, got our pads off. Now we get the brake caliper hanger off. So, This is a 21 millimeter. Bolt out. I always like to put a little tray below here. Helps catch any dirt. Now, we can take brake rotor off. Let's get that nut loose. Run it out. Set it to the side. Alright. Then pop it out a little bit. Set your wheel bearing to the side. And this comes up. So, now in this case, we're going to reuse the bearings. So we want to clean this up really good. We'll re-grease it when we're done. So, wipe all the old grease off. And then take some brake clean it down. All right, so now take a wire brush. Go around here and get some of that old grease off where the new seal is going to sit. Also, I want to clean up the ABS sensor there. And get some of this crusty stuff off of here so it doesn't fall down in there. We'll put it back together. All right. There we go. Clean it off really good. We'll get a clean rag and wipe this down in a sec. All right. So now we got the spindle all cleaned up. Make sure there's nothing on there. Now we'll go get a clean rag. One more time. We'll wipe that down. All right. There we go. Now I got a nice clean spindle. Make sure there's no grooves or cuts or lumps where the seal might get torn. Alright, so it's all clean. So now I'm going to take you guys over to where I have the actual hub and brake rotor. So now here's the fun part. So we don't want to get dirt down inside of that bearing. Take a rag here, shove it down inside of there, help keep some of the dirt out. All right. There we go. Now work our way around on that seal. Then see if we can hook the seal out of there. Oh, that ain't gonna work. So get a little screwdriver and pop it out. All right. There we go. Pry that seal up out of there. Like that. All right. So now, got the old bearing there. We're gonna clean it up a little bit. So take the old wheel bearing. Get some of that old grease off of there. Now, if you wanna go an extra step further, you can clean all the rollers out, repack it with grease. But I'm gonna take a grease needle and re-inject some grease in there. All right. So, bearing looks good. All the rollers look good in it. It's a good sign. So now, what you don't want to do is, if you can see inside of there, this area where it's all shiny, that's supposed to have grease in it, and it doesn't. So, whoever did the brake rotors on this before did not do them right. And that could have caused premature failure of the bearings. So, take the old rotor, put it somewhere. Take our nice new one, set it over here. Now what we're gonna do is grease needle and put grease all down inside of here. Now, let me get my light so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so. Now, put a little bit of grease on the race there and wipe it around. I always prefer the red and tacky grease because it has a high temperature point. Good for wheel bearings that are next to brakes. So get a little bit of that on there. All right. Now we're gonna take that old wheel bearing there, take a grease needle, pump some grease into that bearing. All right. Now, if it's a new wheel bearing, you'd want to repack it completely. So, set that guy down in there. Wipe the grease around a little bit. And then, so we're going to be putting a new seal in there. So, what we need to do is clean up where the seal is going to go. So, take your rag, go around the inside, clean off the lip where the seal is going to go. All right. All right, so now what I like to use is a little bit of anaerobic sealant. So, this stuff right here, clean off the sealing area of your new seal. All right. Inspect it, make sure there's no dirt in it. Looks like somebody's already tried to install this. So, if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. So I'm gonna take a little bit of anaerobic seal in here, run it around where it's gonna seal inside the brake rotor. All right, just a little bit, run it around with your finger. And then you're gonna need a seal driver. So in this case, I have a OTC wheel bearing tool. I'm gonna take that guy. It's gonna sit right on the metal, like that. We're gonna use that to drive it down in there. All right, there we go. And then what I like to do is take a little mirror, run around, make sure that it's seated all the way. There we go. So now with that being said, we can flip it over and grease it from the other side. So, you gotta get grease all down inside there. So again, put your grease needle and your grease gun and fill that guy up. Oh, the handle came off. That's all right. All right, and then again, a little bit on the race. And take it, run it all around. There we go. Now I gotta get the other bearing over here and grease it up. So this is the bearing. Goes on the outside. Get some of that old grease off of there. There we go. Any dirt or grime, let's get it out of there. All right. I think this is where the term we used to call mechanics grease monkeys. I think this is why, because we used to have to always do this kind of stuff, but now we don't. All right, so same thing. Shoot some grease in this guy. All right. So now we got both sides greased up. I'll meet you guys in a minute, but I'm gonna take the stuff, set it over there. And when you're done, since your hands are greasy, make sure you wipe the brake rotor off. All right. Go back over here. So now, take a little grease, run it on that. So we'll run some new grease on the spindle here. That way that bearing's gonna slide right on there easy. And then something else I like to do is back here where the seal goes, I like to put a little bit of grease on that so the seal doesn't roll on us when we go to slide it back on there. So I gotta go back and get the bearing real quick. All right. Got a little piece of dirt right there, yep. Get it off there. Alright. Now, we're gonna slide our new brake rotor up on there so it's completely seated. Alright, make sure we get it seated all the way up on there. There we go, very good. Yep, now, okay, your wheel bearing, outer, slide it on. Got the lock washer, slide it on. And we're going to thread the nut back on. Alright. Get your socket, run it back up on there. Now, people over tighten these a lot. That damages the bearings. It also messes up the threads on the spindle. So, all you really got to do it spinning so it seats up on there good. Alright. What I like to do is once you get it run up there on my hand, go a quarter turn, spin it real good, both ways. You can see that grease moving around there. Then, back it off. Alright. And then tighten until it kind of touches. And then just go a little bit more. There we go. Alright. Now, there is a torque specification for this that you can look up. If you've done this enough, then you get a good feel for it. But you also don't want, the biggest thing is you don't want them getting too tight, because that will damage the bearings, make them wear out faster. So, I'm going to put our lock ring back on, our cotter pin back through. Now, a lot of times, use a new cotter pin. That is standard procedure, but I think we'll be alright with this one. Alright, so now all that's taken care of. Now we take our cap. We're going to tap it back on. Now, remember what I said about the brake rotor? I got a little grease on it from when we were carrying it around, so let's wipe that off. There we go. Get that grease off of there. And now, we can take care of backing plates. So, what we're going to do now is where the pads slide. Now, some brakes will come with new clips, some won't. So, make sure if you get the new clips, put the new clips on, and clean off the brake pad slides here. And then take a little bit of this ultra, it's a brake parts lubricant. Take a little bit of that, put it on the slide where the pads sit. There we go. Alright. So, now that's done. Get some of this grease off my gloves here. Alright. Now, put our new fender back on. Now, that's out of the way. Next, I'm going to get these slide pins out and grease those. So, take the pliers, pull the boot back a bit. Alright, pull that slide pin out. A little bit of brake grease on it. Slide slide it back in. This one's been a bit of a stinker to get, so get it out here. Oh, alright. Well, now I gotta re-clean it. Try it from the other side. So, brake grease. Try it from this side now. There we go. All right. Now, make sure the boots re-engage on the pin. There we go. There's one. All right, a little bit better view for you guys. Now, get this pin pushed out. There we go. Light coating grease on that guy. Alright. There, that one went in a lot easier. Re-engage the boots. There we go. Now we need to push the piston back. So. This is a fixed brake caliper compressor, but they work pretty good for dual piston as well. So, take this guy, put it in there. Get it nice and centered up. There we go. Something else you might want to do is suck a little bit of brake fluid out of your reservoir, so that way it doesn't push out on the ground. Alright, so that's snug. And oh, see, I sucked some out, but I didn't suck enough out. So that's pushed back. Alright. So we're going to set our pads in here. There we go. Now, one of my favorite things to use on brakes, especially old stuff like this, is CRC disc brake pipe. Now what I do with this is put it on the backs of the pistons, or the fronts of the pistons there. And that's going to make sure that the pads stick to the disc a little bit better. It's going to help prevent noises and make a better contact. So there we go. Alright, put this guy back on. Alright. Get it back in the notches. Now let's clip. Hanging me up a bit. There we go. So, we'll clip from the bottom too. There it is. Now, got our brake caliper bolts. Again, grease them up a little bit. Slide them back in. Like that. Take that out before you forget about it. Alright. Now, well, there you have it. Reinstall the wheel, push your brake pedal back in, check the fluid level, top off as necessary, put your wheels back on, torque them down, and go bed your brakes in, go for a test drive, and make sure everything's good. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this stuff, thanks for tuning in. Hope you like and subscribe it. Also, let you guys know that I'll be help out a Porsche racing team later on this year. And if you guys stay tuned in for that stuff, there'll be some action while I'm at the track, some live streams while I'm doing stuff at the track. I'm going to be a tech help for the race car, and it's an American Endurance Racing Series that I'll be in. So thank you guys for watching.